The Girl They Forgot by Gabriella. I grew up in a lakeside town in Minnesota, where winters lasted forever and everyone knew each other's business. At first, I thought my family was ordinary. My dad taught high school physics, my mom worked night shifts as a nurse, and we weren't rich, but we were okay. For a brief time, I felt like I mattered. Mom would brush my hair before heading to work. Dad took me fishing every weekend. On warm summer nights, the three of us would sit on the porch eating ice cream while the cicadas sang in the still air. I thought that was what love looked like, what family meant. Then, one freezing January night just after I turned 8, everything changed. I woke to flashing headlights in our driveway and hurried knocking at the door. My Aunt Evelyn, pale and breathless, told me to grab a coat. "Your mom's at the hospital," she said. "Your baby sister came early." Her name was Lily, born 2 months premature, hooked to tubes and machines. I wasn't allowed to hold her. "She can't get sick," Mom whispered, eyes glued to a monitor. When I reached out, she pushed my hand away, gently but firmly, like I was a threat. From the moment Lily came home, our house transformed. Sanitizer on every surface, purifiers humming 24/7. The sharp bleach smell burned my throat at night. If I so much as sneezed, I was packed off to Grandma's. At first, I didn't mind. Grandma made warm apple pie and always gave me a new book. But gradually, I saw it for what it was: exile. I had become an afterthought, an obstacle. I brought home a perfect math test. Mom barely looked at it, just asked Dad if he remembered tissues because Lily was sniffly. "Good job," he muttered. No hug, no fridge display, just dismissal. I tried harder. Drew pictures, won the science fair, told stories about ancient history I'd read under my blanket with a flashlight. But Lily always had a mild fever. Lily was sleeping. Lily needed silence. "Gabriella, please be quiet." Eventually, I stopped trying. I stayed in my peppermint-scented room. Lily's allergies meant she wasn't allowed in. It was the only space that felt like mine. Worse than being forgotten was watching them rewrite the story. "Gabriella's always been so independent," Mom would tell the neighbors, like I'd chosen this. "She understands that Lily needs more attention." No, I didn't. I just knew the warmth had vanished, and I wasn't allowed to miss it. At 13, I applied for a job at Sugar Pines, the bakery in town. Mrs. Lorraine, the owner, didn't ask why a kid wanted to mop floors and sell cookies. She simply said, "If you work hard, you deserve a place in this world." That was the first time someone outside my family saw me. After school, I wiped counters, boxed pastries, swept the floors. Then I'd go home and quietly do homework in the corner of my room. No one asked where I'd been. So long as I didn't upset Lily, no one cared. Meanwhile, Lily never lifted a finger. She didn't clean, didn't study. But when she won second place in a school art contest, they threw a party. Framed her pink cat drawing with a plaque, "The family's talent." The same week, I got accepted to Northwestern University on a full-ride scholarship. No one even blinked. I had applied to 12 colleges on my own. Wrote my essays during bakery breaks. Mrs. Lorraine helped me edit them. I found my own recommendation letters, filled out FAFSA, scraped together tip money for the bus to a scholarship interview in another state. When the acceptance came, I cried, not because I was going to college, but because someone, for the first time in years, was proud of me. That night, I showed Mom the letter. She glanced at it, then said, "Congrats, but don't mention it to Lily. She's stressed." I folded the letter and went upstairs. Lily laughed downstairs, trying on her new ballet shoes. Designer ones I had never dared ask for. At Northwestern, I majored in art history. I wanted to study beauty, stories hidden in things people overlook, like me. I worked unpaid internships at a jewelry appraisal firm in Chicago. While my peers chased finance jobs, I sat under filament bulbs, studying forgotten brooches and tarnished rings. My first big find? A costume brooch, I instinctively knew, was something more. I traced it to a French artisan who designed for nobility before the war. It sold for over $40,000. My name appeared in the company email. Gabriella has a sharp eye. More pieces followed. A Russian enamel necklace, a one-of-a-kind platinum ring from a Boston dynasty. Soon I was handling collections solo. When my supervisor, Margaret, asked if I'd ever thought about going independent, I laughed. Me? I survive on ramen and secondhand clothes. She smiled. Exactly, the hungriest people find the rarest meals. At 27, I started my own company, Alm and Iris. Alm for gold, Iris for the flowers Mom once grew. Before Lily, before silence. I opened a tiny office above an Italian cafe. Wobbly desk, second-hand lamp, no fanfare. Clients trickled in. A woman, verifying her Depression-era ring. A pawnshop owner unsure about a sapphire. I charged little, worked meticulously, and built a reputation. Year 2, I moved to a better office. Year 3, I hired Maya, a geology grad with a soft voice and sharper instincts. By year 5, we had offices in 3 cities and contracts. With museums and estate lawyers, my personal worth passed $12 million. No one in my family knew. To them, I was still the girl dusting antiques, always missing dinner, probably broke. I let them believe it. Every month, I sent my parents money. First $3,000, then $7,000. When Lily found her passion in her 5th major, this time, interior design, the one I once wanted to pursue but couldn't afford. Mom called once. "Parsons isn't cheap," she said. "Can you help just until she graduates?" I nodded, while reviewing documents for a $400,000 appraisal. At Sunday dinners, nothing changed. Dad asked if I'd considered applying to the local high school for stability. Mom suggested I do an MBA. Everyone has one now. Lily scrolled Instagram mid-conversation, showing off her latest designer. Bag. On sale, she said. I knew it was a limited piece, never discounted. Once, she joked, Gab probably has enough necklaces to open a store. I smiled. Who knows, right? I could have told them about the $1 million contracts, the New York Gallery deal, the Academic Journal, the National Museum contract. I could have told them the necklace Lily wore once came to me for appraisal. It was fake, but I didn't. Because sometimes silence is the only crown the forgotten child gets to wear. Someday they'll know. Maybe when they visit a museum and see my name under lead appraiser. Maybe when a lawyer mentions my firm. Or when a documentary credits Alm and Iris for rediscovering a lost heirloom. Maybe then they'll realize I was never the one who needed saving. I was the one who saved myself. And just like the antiques I spent years learning to love, I was never worthless, only misjudged. Lily bought herself a brand new limited edition. BMW posted it on Instagram, rewarding myself after a tough semester. Hard work always pays off. The car cost over $90,000, I knew, and I also knew no Parsons student could afford that, unless someone else was quietly paying the bill. That evening, Mom called me. Her voice glowed with pride. "Did you see, honey? Lily's doing so well. She's handling everything on her own now. I think she's really going to be successful." I didn't say a word, but this time, the silence inside me wasn't peaceful. It pulsed with one loud, aching question. When will they finally see me? Not the version they created to forget, but the real me? I hadn't planned on hosting Thanksgiving that year. In fact, I was ready to disappear. Maybe book a solo cabin up north, disappear into quiet. Then Mom called, her voice smaller than I'd ever heard it. "I haven't been feeling well, Gabriella. No one's really up to cooking. Everyone's looking forward to the holiday, you know how it is." What she meant, no one wanted the effort, but they'd notice if I wasn't there. I paused, then replied softly, "I'll take care of it. You just rest." In truth, I had already contacted a high-end catering service from Chicago, the same one I used for company auction events. They were known for private, exquisitely plated dinners. I paid with my firm's secondary card. No one questioned it. Thanksgiving morning, I arrived early. The catering team followed soon after, setting up with clinical grace. Portable ovens, silver trays, linen-covered tables, even a tablescape designer. Lily peeked from the hallway and whispered to Mom, "Isn't she going overboard? Looks like she's trying to impress someone." I smiled to myself. Impress someone? No, I just wanted one real meal. No dry turkey, no runny potatoes, just beauty. For once, 20 people filled the house. Grandparents, aunts, distant relatives, Lily's new boyfriend. Everyone gasped over the food. The candlelight flickered across polished silverware and delicate herb garnishes. I poured wine and smiled. Then I quietly slipped upstairs. I had an important live auction to monitor. My firm was overseeing a rare Meiji-era gemstone set in Tokyo. My assistant was on headset. My laptop glowed with auction figures and contract overviews. Then, without knocking, Lily barged into the room. "Do you have an iPhone charger? My phone's—" Her eyes landed on the screen. They widened, then narrowed. She smirked. "Mind if I borrow this? Let's show everyone just how cool your little antique thing is." Before I could move, she scooped up the laptop and walked down to the dining room. "Guys, look what Gabriella's doing on Thanksgiving." She spun the laptop around. Silence. A tab displayed a bank account, 12 of 6 million, another, a pending $400,000 authentication contract. A third, our quarterly earnings over $4 million dead, quiet, silence. The kind that wraps a room like a vice. M.